The future of energy lies not just in what we use, but in how deeply we're willing to search for it. Think about that for a second. We often talk about clean energy and innovation, but much of the real work happens underground, quite literally in layers of rock, shale, and coal seams deep beneath our feet. The question is, how do we explore these hidden, hard-to-reach resources efficiently, especially in remote and geologically complex regions? Well, today, I'll take you to one such place, the mountainous terrains of southeastern Shanxi Province, China, where a team of geophysicists tackled one of the most complex challenges in unconventional gas exploration. Good day, everyone. I am Janelle Ross Tios-Milio, and I'll be presenting the study titled A Seismic Acquisition Technique for the Exploration of Unconventional Gas, an example from southeastern Shanxi Province, China. Before I start, let me just guide you to this presentation's overview. First, we'll look upon the introduction, followed by the geological settings of the study area, methodology for seismic data acquisition, then results and discussion, and finally, the conclusions. To start, in the recent years, China's coalbed methane, or CBM sector has slowed, prompting the need for innovative exploration strategies to revive it and support clean energy development. Shale gas, though promising, has properties like low porosity and high anisotropy that complicate seismic interpretation. Because of this, unconventional gases, including CBM and shale gas, required specialized seismic acquisition and processing techniques, especially in challenging terrains. The main hurdles stated in this study include the need for mobile, efficient equipment, and tailored methods to adapt to rugged geological conditions. For the geological setting of the study area, it is located in southeastern Shanxi Province, inside the Qinghai Basin, one of China's key regions for coalbed methane and shale gas. The terrain is mountainous with complex valleys and changing rock layers, which makes seismic exploration more difficult. However, the area contains 20 coal seams and thick shale deposits, making it a promising target for unconventional gas development. In this study, the methodology for seismic data acquisition involved a combination of micrologging and the refraction encounter method. This approach was specifically chosen to accurately characterize the shallow subsurface structures in areas with thick glass deposits, which often present challenges due to low velocity zones and signal attenuation. As you can see in the image, the layout of the micrologging detection points is designed to adapt to these challenging conditions. In the aerial view, as you can see in the part A, researchers observed the horizontal arrangement of geophones across the survey line. Then in the side view, in the part B, you'll notice the offsets of 0, 3, and 5 meters from the shot point. These spacings allow them to record how seismic waves travel through varying subsurface layers. The 3-meter offset captures high-resolution near-surface data, while the 5-meter offset helps with deeper penetration and broader signal coverage. By using multiple offsets and adapting the observation system based on the thickness of the lens, they ensure that the acquired seismic data is both detailed and reliable, especially important in low signal-to-noise environments like this one. Now, let's proceed to the results and discussion. This slide shows the figure which presents the results of micrologging interpretation in the less covered southern part of the study area. As you can see in the diagram, there are distinct layers of varying velocity and thickness. The low velocity layer indicated in the upper section is highly variable laterally. This variability can cause severe wave attenuation and signal distortion if explosives are placed too shallow. By using micrologging, researchers were able to accurately map these variations and ensure that explosives were placed deeper, within high-velocity layers like tight clay or bedrock, which are shown in the lower portions of the profile. This strategic placement significantly reduced wave interference and improved the signal-to-noise ratio of the seismic data. It was especially important in thick glass areas where signal degradation was a major challenge. Next, for the results of seismic wave generation method, we can see in the first figure, they compare single-shot seismic records at various depths, from 15 to 42 meters, all using a 6-kilogram charge in less covered terrain. Reflections from shallow depths like 15 meters and 18 meters appear weak and inconsistent. But starting from 24 meters onward, the reflection continuity significantly improves, showing more defined signals from the coal seam. Now, looking at the next figure, they quantitatively analyze these results. In part A, energy is highest at 15 to 21 meters, showing stronger initial energy output. Figure 5B shows the frequency response, indicating good performance at depths like 15, 18, 21, and 42 meters. However, energy dips slightly at 30 meters. The most important metric here is signal-to-noise ratio shown in Figure 5C, which is notably higher at depths greater than 24 meters, confirming that deep boreholes reduce noise and improve data clarity. For the results of the next part for seismic wave generation method, this figure shows a comparison between a single well shot and the combined well shot setup. In the combined case, 3 wells each hold 2-kilogram explosives, totaling 6 kilograms like the single well. While the single well produces stronger energy, the combined well setup enhances the continuity of reflected wave phases, which is especially helpful in complex layer geology. For the next figure, which is the figure 7, it dives deeper into the comparison at a depth of 21 meters. In figure 7A and figure 7B, we see that single wells yield higher RMS and relative amplitudes, confirming stronger energy. The frequency bandwidth is also wider in single wells, but the peak frequencies are slightly higher in combined wells. Figure 7C shows that the signal-to-noise ratio is quite similar between both approaches. So in practice, the choice depends on the goal: higher energy from a single well or better lateral phase continuity using combined wells. This is ideal for stratigraphic interpretation. As we move forward in improving seismic data quality, a key focus was the receiver system design, particularly how geophone arrays were arranged. In Figure 8, we see a raw single-shot record that clearly shows strong surface wave interference, primarily in the short offset area. These surface waves, along with random industrial noise at around 50 Hz, distort reflections and reduce interpretability, especially in less covered regions. To mitigate this, researchers tested 3 geophone array configurations, shown in Figure 9. Array A used 6 detectors in a single line. Array B arranged 9 detectors across 3 lines. Array C used 12 detectors split across 2 lines. These array designs were chosen to explore how layout patterns affect wave sampling, energy preservation, and noise suppression. This layout testing sets the stage for analyzing how these arrays performed in terms of energy return, frequency behavior, and signal-to-noise ratio, which we'll explore in the next slide. Now, let's look at how those 3 geophone arrays performed. This is shown in Figure 10, which compares energy, bandwidth, and signal-to-noise ratio. In terms of seismic wave energy, as shown in Figure 10A and Figure 10B, Array C recorded the highest amplitudes, while Array A performed moderately and Array B is the lowest. Surprisingly, Array B had the widest frequency bandwidth, but due to its low energy, the reflected signals were less useful. Array A and C, despite narrower bandwidths, preserved signal strength much better. For signal-to-noise ratio shown in Figure 10C, all arrays showed some improvement, but the differences weren't significant. This suggests that array design affects energy capture and frequency resolution more than it does in signal-to-noise ratio. These results help inform optimal array configurations based on terrain and acquisition goals, striking a balance between resolution, energy strength, and operational complexity. Now, we come to application effect analysis. The figure shows a pre-stock time migration seismic profile. This is the culmination of the seismic acquisition and processing work performed in the study. This image illustrates the effectiveness of the optimized acquisition parameters, including excitation depths, explosive charge configurations, and geophone array design, which all contributed to producing a much clearer seismic image of the subsurface. Specifically, what stands out here is the improved continuity of reflection events along the stratigraphic layers. The target formation, which is the Shanxi Formation, and the Taiyuan Formation are reflected here with strong energy returns and good co-phase axis continuity, indicating a coherent wavefront and minimal interference. We'll also notice that both the shallow and deep reflectors are resolved well. This demonstrates that signal-to-noise ratio was sufficiently improved, especially in the thick-less and bedrock transition zones where reflections are often lost or distorted. Importantly, the alignment and clarity of the seismic horizons suggest that velocity modeling, static corrections, and stacking parameters were accurately tuned based on the geological complexity revealed during acquisition. As a result, this profile not only confirms the presence of gas-bearing strata, but also provides a reliable framework for future geophysical interpretation, inversion modeling, and resource estimation in the Quincy Basin. In summary, this result validates that the methodological improvements adopted, from micrologging to receiver layout and explosive placement, it significantly enhanced the resolution and quality of seismic imaging in a geologically challenging area. Next, this study come up with their conclusions. First, use multiple wells with small explosives to improve signal-to-noise ratio. In areas that are difficult to drill or have strong interference, using several wells with small explosive charges helps increase the seismic signal strength, making the data clearer and more reliable. Then second, combine low-frequency geophones to reduce noise. By adding low-frequency geophones, we can further reduce unwanted noise and boost the quality of the seismic signals, which is essential for accurate data. Then third, apply special processing techniques to enhance resolution. Techniques like small interval traces and multiplication help sharpen the seismic images, allowing us to see details in the shallow underground layers more clearly. Then lastly, optimize excitation depth using drilling data. Using data from drilling logs, we can adjust where we generate the seismic energy, targeting the right depth to maximize the signal and improve the overall data quality. So to wrap it up, this research reminds us that even in the toughest landscapes, where traditional seismic techniques fall short, innovation prevails. By optimizing seismic acquisition methods, from well depth to geophone layout, the researchers enhance signal clarity and help map out hidden gas-rich layers with precision. These techniques don't just improve exploration, they support cleaner energy development, even in the most geologically complex regions. That's all, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out or you may leave your questions in the comment section. I'd be happy to answer that. Thank you for listening.